Now before we go any further, let's go ahead and test it and see if that'll run.
Oh no, she's broke.
I've got this old Ransom, it's a Bobcat lawn mower, and I went out to cut grass. It's got an 18 horse, 2-cylinder Briggs and Stratton engine on it, and I was cutting grass for about 15 minutes and all of a sudden it quit running. So let's check it out and see what's wrong. First thing I'm going to do is try to start it and see if it was because it was hot or what the issue was. There's a sign, so it must have been because it was hot. This is the first time I've run it this year, so it's possible could have something to do with the fuel. I know I need to clean my filter up, the air filter. This is an old mower, 36 years old. It served us well. You can see I've got some oil on here, which means I've got some blow-by. There's quite a bit of oil in here. So it's seen its better days, but I try to keep it going. Well, the first thing I want to do is check and see if we have spark. See if that's what the problem is. So we'll go ahead and pull a spark plug out. And plug it back into the plug wire. We'll go ahead and touch this, ground it to metal, and see if we have spark. I don't see any spark. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the coil. Alright, here's our coil, and it's not untypical when a coil's going bad. When the engine gets hot, it'll shut down. When it cools down, you can get it started back up, but then when it gets hot again, it'll shut down. So my sneaking suspicion is that the coil's bad. What I'm going to do first is, there's a kill wire here, and I'm going to disconnect the kill wire just to make sure that it's not one of the safety switches that's bad. I trace the kill wire, and it comes from the coil, comes down through here, and this is the kill wire right here. So I've got that disconnected, and now we'll test the mower and see if it'll start and run. Yep.
That's not good.
So I'm going to pull the coil out and we can test it and see if it's any good and probably order one. It's just these two little screws to remove the coil. I've already got the ground wire disconnected, as you saw. I've got to pry this plate up so I can get the wires out, because this plate is too much work to get off and I don't want to pull the flywheel. So I'm going to see if I can do this. tight squeeze, but I got it and it won't scrape the flywheel, so I think we're all right. I'll just unplug the kill switch wire and pull it out. All right, with the coil out, we'll go ahead and test it. And I went online and I did not find anybody showing how to test a 2-wire ignition coil. And these are tested a little different. The way you test a 2-wire ignition coil like this is, instead of touching the positive to one of the spark plug leads and the negative to the base of the coil, you can see we've got nothing. On a 1-wire coil, that's the way you test it, and you should get resistance of 2,500 to 5,000 ohms on a Briggs and Stratton engine. Well, we get nothing with this, but the way you test a 2-wire coil is you touch both the spark plug leads, and still we got nothing. So that means a break in the coil here. Often what will happen when a coil's going bad is your lawnmower or weed eater or chainsaw will quit running, and then it'll cool down and it'll start running again, because the heat causes the brake to spread, and then it cools down, pulls back, and the windings are able to touch again. But the coil's going bad, so it needs to be replaced. This one tests bad, so we'll go ahead and order a new one. Okay, the new coil's arrived. And I ordered this actually off of eBay this time. And it was 13 bucks with tax, or just over $13. It's designed a little different because, like I said, my mower's 38 years old. The coil's never been changed. And we'll go ahead and test this one. I did make sure it matched up by the engine number. So we'll touch one of the spark plug leads and the other spark plug lead. And we got a good coil here. It's reading a little higher, and this might be rated a little different, but that looks good. All right, before I go ahead and install this, I want to take these covers off if I can. Like I said, this thing's old, and hopefully they won't rip. Otherwise these could short out. Oh, there we go. It broke loose. So you just want to take these off. There we go. And slide them on the new ones. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but that's in there. And you want to make sure to install it the right way. The wire's facing that way on this engine, just like it was. If you install it this way, which you'd be able to get it in, it wouldn't run. We'll plug in the kill wire. Just these two little screws, bolts hold these in. I'm just turning them down and not tightening them yet. On the newer models of this engine, this plate is a lot easier to lift and tuck the wires under. This is an old motor, and so I want to gently pry it up. You don't want to go crazy bending it, because then it's going to bend and hit the flywheel when you put it back together. There's a little gap in here, a little groove in here. that these wires fit in so they don't get pinched. You don't want to pinch these wires because then you'll break the wire and your coil won't work anymore. And that cylinder won't fire, the one you pinch. The longer wire goes to the far side, and this wire goes to the plug right over here. Put the longer one in first. I'm holding it, and there, it's in. And then the shorter one, holding it up, not letting it pinch. There we go. Good, I can freely slide it in and slide it out so it's not pinched. The ground wires, kill wires not pinched. So we're good. Like I said, this one goes over here. And this one here. Now right here is the magnet that gives the coil spark. And you can see that's pretty clean. If yours has been sitting outside and it's rusty, you want to take a piece of steel wool or some sandpaper and sand that off. That's good. All right, now that we've got that done, we can set the gap on our ignition coil against the flywheel. What you do is just take a business card, it's the right thickness, and put the business card in there. You want these just barely finger tight so you can still move it, and push that up against the flywheel. So you got a snug fit there. So I'm going to hold it, push behind, and snug one side, snug the other side. And you don't want to tighten these down too tight because this is just aluminum. Just enough to hold it in place. That's good. I just spin this, pull the card out, and that's your gap. Well, I've got this apart. The fins on the engine are what keep it cool, and so I want to clean that out and make it run as cool as possible. So I'm going to take a vacuum and compressed air and do that. Well, that's it for repairs. Now just put it back together the way we took it apart. Now before we go any further, let's go ahead and test it and see if that'll run. Give it a little shot of starting fluid since I had the fuel off. All right. Put her back together, and I got a lot of grass to cut. When I'm working around the carburetor, I close the choke in case you drop a screw or something. You don't want that going down in there. Now we're ready to start it up and go to work. If this video was a help to you, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.